is a face of the day. I haven't done a face of the day for ages, but this is one that I've been doing loads, and it's one that I do to various degrees. If I'm doing school run, I'll quite often do the eyes, and what I'm going to show you I do with my lips, and probably the SPF I use without the foundation. And it literally takes like 5 minutes. I've done it on my Instagram story, so if you're on Instagram you can look for my highlights that's got a lipstick, and that's all my makeup stuff. And I mean, I can't tell you how long the Instagram stories took, but like a couple of minutes. And yeah, next thing you see will be me with no makeup. So I have been loving this palette. I did a video with it a while ago, probably similar look, but I can't remember what it is. It's the Easy on the Eye palette from 17, so it is super cheap, and it's really quick to use. And one thing I really like about it, here it's got 3 metallic creams and 1 eye primer. I'm guessing they say this is the eye primer, but I use the metallic cream as a primer, and it goes on really nicely, really nicely. And I just splodge that on with my finger. Now, I think loads of people think pink makeup is girly, but I really like it because I think it looks really flattering. Quite often when I see people and I think, oh, your makeup looks nice, they're wearing a pink eyeshadow. So what I've done is I've used this as a base, and then I'm going to use that, and I'm using the little brush that comes in there because it's fine. And it's really flattering to green eyes, really flattering to blue eyes. Also, I found this palette lasts really well. The eyeshadow lasts all day. So I've literally just splodged that. Maybe I'll zoom in a bit. All over the lid with the brush. And then I'm going to do my usual trick of the light might change in here a bit because it's one of those spring days in the UK where it's sunny and cloudy and breezy, so it's the sun's changing a lot. So I'm just blending out the top edge with this. Now if you use a cream base and you don't put powder all over it, and it will move up, which is fine, but the powder will move up, and if you wear a liner, that can cause liner transfer. So to stop the possibility of that happening, because obviously you've noticed I'm quite slapdash about my makeup, this is just my like insurance that I'm not going to look in the mirror in an hour's time and find that I've got liner transfer. So I'm going to use my Bold Eyeliner pen from H&M, really roughly just along the roots, and then I'm going to use Smolder by MAC over the top, again quite roughly. So why I do this is the liquid liner is going to last really a long time, the pencil is going to make me able to smudge, and then I'm going to use a black eyeshadow. This is the Louise Young one, but any eyeshadow will do, and I'm going to use that to kind of smudge the black eyeshadow all the way along. But getting thinner and fainter towards the inner corner of the eye. Right, and then I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to get my mirror right underneath, so I'm not doing this, and I'm just going to do a little flick. And then what I find is, if you get your fingernail, oh sorry it's blurry, if you get your fingernail and you just go under the flick and run it upwards, it just means you kind of clean it upwards. Right, so then I'm going to use Perversion mascara. Then I'm going to use an SPF. This is the Heliocare 360 Fluid Cream, which has an SPF of 50, and it's really good at protecting your skin. So I've patted that on all over. It's quite sunny here in the UK. It looks tinted and it kind of does even out skin tone, but if you're someone like me who has quite a lot of redness, and I've got quite reactive skin at the moment, I need a lot of concealer over this. I'm actually meeting a friend for lunch, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some Chanel Vitalumia, which I think has an SPF of 15, and normally I wouldn't recommend mixing your SPFs, but I think this is such a high and broad spectrum, and this is an old foundation, so the SPF probably isn't as strong as it once was. And I really wouldn't want to be wearing an SPF of only 15 on my face in this kind of weather. I haven't worn this Chanel foundation for a while, and I'd forgotten how lovely it is actually. Okay, and then I'm going to use a bit of this, which is the Corrector. Now, I'm just putting it where the blueness is, because this will sit in creases a bit if you put it directly in the creases, and I find actually that this sits in the creases a tiny bit, so avoid putting that too close to the eyes if you are going to use a concealer. And then I'm using my Clarins Instant Concealer. Sorry about the phone noises. I'm doing an offer on my teeth whitening toothpaste, and it's slightly going off on my phone. So I'm just going to pat that in. Now, if you do your flicks before your foundation, make sure that there's no gap. Can you see here where my foundation stops? So you might want to use a little brush. Okay, so I'm going to let that settle in. Usually what I do before I do my foundation is I put a bit of this highlighter on. I forgot to do that, so I'm going to do a bit now. This is Sway by Ilia, and I find that I'm not big on highlighter, but if you use it before your foundation, it's really flattering. And I'm just going to use a foundation brush or blending brush to blend that in, and then what I've got left on the back of my hand of my foundation, I'm just going to make sure that's kind of patted over the top. Okay, now as I've got a bit of reactive skin, I'm not going to do too much on the cheeks, but I am going to use my Old Faithful Rose Glow blusher. Really pretty. And goes really nicely if you've got a pink eyeshadow on, because it's not too, because it blends out so nicely into the skin. It's not like a powder pink sitting with a powder pink, if that makes sense. Now, because I don't want everything to look too full on pink, I'm going to use these two browns from the Louise Young palette, just to run them on. The baby is obsessed with playing with the dog's water bowl, and woe betide anyone who takes the water bowl away from him. And then I'm going to do my waterline. Oh, poor baby. My husband is down there. Don't call social services. The baby is okay. He's currently having his nappy changed. Another of his least favourite things. So I bought this palette for €2 when I was in Mallorca. It's an Essence eyeshadow palette because I forgot to take any eyeshadow with me. And I quite like it, and what I think I'm going to try and do is dig them out to make a kind of travel palette out of some of them. But what I quite like are the little highlighters. So what I tend to do is get this brush, which is quite a firm brush, and I just get this highlighter in a corner. And then another Eco Tools brush and get the pink just a bit of highlighter, just because I know that I'm always anti-highlighter, but this time of year I think it's pretty. I'm anti-highlighter on the tips of the nose. So I don't think this looks like a girly pink girly makeup. You may think differently. I'm now going to set under the eye with my Laura Mercier. I'm then going to set it all. Now, I know I always say how you should put something on your lips because blah 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 blah, makeup looks unfinished. What I find is if I've got a pink on my eyelid, I don't necessarily want anything on my lips. So what I'm going to do is I'm rubbing my lips to make sure the kind of circulation's going, if that makes sense, and any dry bits are kind of rubbed off. This is a great trick if you go somewhere and you have forgotten your lipstick as well. And in fact, you could use a tiny bit of this, and by tiny bit I mean I'm wiping my finger around the top. It's kind of pink and pretty, but not girly. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just think if you say pink eyeshadow, everyone's like, and I just love this palette. So, I mean, it's probably less than a £5 in Boots. And thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.